Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Luis Magalong, and I'll be your host this first series of our Leadership Black and White. Okay, this is our first series of this is a series. It's a new series of vertical parallel entitled Leadership Black and White. Okay, this new series that will engage with the viewers about leadership wireframes, best practices, and a combination of vision-oriented and results-driven strategies. A tool for every individual, team, community, organization, and culture. Because leadership in this new normal are consolidated challenges, champion collaboration and creativity with consistency and clarity. Okay, so leadership black and white. When we were thinking about this previous week, sabi namin, ano ba yung, what can be one of the things that can be identified with leadership black and white? Okay, pinag-isipan namin siya. And then we came up with this basic two. First is we can see, or you, all of us can see leaders around us. The question is, do you belong with them? Second, when we talk about leadership black and white, di ba pag sinasabi natin, oh, dapat black and white, o nakikita, di ba? So, when we talk about leadership black and white, it also depicts you being a leader, or the question that would give you an understanding if you are a leader or not yet a leader. Okay, so we in vertical parallel believe that tayo po, ang bawat isa po sa atin ay isang leader, that we are also following another leader. So we ourselves, we call this, the first approach is the personal leadership. So lahat po tayo ay leaders sa ating, in our own right. Even if we talk about the smallest organization like the family, okay, meron po tayong leader doon. So let's move ahead. Maganda, this is a good series, and I guarantee you this series would not only be informative, but it also give you practical tips as you move along, but also to increase your leadership capacity. So we have leadership experts. We've invited the leadership experts in the country to join us. So we'll have this as a series. But don't worry, the Moving Beyond Crisis series, meron pa rin po tayo. Wala lang po tayo this week. So to our if you're this is the first time you're joining us, welcome po. Also if you've been joining us with the past series natin or yung Moving Beyond Crisis, don't worry, we'll still have it. But now we're just doing a new leadership series. Okay, entitled Leadership Black and White. This is brought to you by Vertical Parallel. You can visit our page at Vertical Parallel Asia. Okay, if you've been joining us sa mga previous series, can you do a shoutout dyan sa comment section sa baba? Paki-say naman hi. Okay, and if you know somebody who would benefit from this, please tag, share, like, okay, or tag them along. Or better yet, do a host a watch party. Di ba? Mas maganda. So that they could also learn from this. So, since this is a new series, you may be medyo may mga changes, no, baka may mapapansin yung changes, but okay, I'm still Luis Magalong, ako pa rin po ang host, but there would be time that I would be doing or conducting the leadership training. But okay, I guarantee whatever you would learn from this training is very applicable. So if you're in the department, pwede nyo po siyang i-apply sa office nyo. if you are with your group, okay, if you're working for a non-organizational group, invite nyo rin po sila. If you're a school, if you're working for a school, or if you are a student, don't worry. What you will learn from this is something of value that will give you when you progress or when you graduate or when you do your work. Okay? So, let's do, I'll just show you some of my slides before as I proceed. Okay? Yan. Okay, this Leadership Black and White is, of course, brought to you by our Vertical Parallel. We bridge you to success. Visit our page for more information. If you want to get in touch with us, please do DM us, direct message us, or also find us. You will find us also in our, okay, yan, Vertical Parallel Asia. We are present in Facebook, as you would know. Vertical Parallel Asia. We're also present in Instagram, LinkedIn, and also the YouTube. We'll upload this video in YouTube, so please like, follow, and subscribe. Okay? So Leadership Black and White, okay, brought to you by Vertical Parallel Asia and Magalong Talks. All right. Okay, so if you've been if you're new, okay, please do follow us at Vertical Parallel page. Paki-hi, Vertical Parallel Asia page. Okay, paki-hi lang po kayo diyan. Okay, or do a review or do a recommendation yan. Okay, we've been doing this as a training firm, okay, or what we do with the previous series, we are incorporating learnings para po sa inyo, para sa ating mga audiences, no. So please, okay, I encourage you to visit our page every day because we are doing posters, okay? We are doing posters para po na inyong ma-share sa inyong mga kaibigan. We would like to be an encouragement to you and to your office mates or to your families or to any circle of influence that you have. So, yan po ang ating for today. Don't let the unknown stop you from progressing, okay? Ang ganda po ng picture ng palaka, no? Also, okay, if you the master class, okay, V at Vertical Parallel is doing a master classes. It's an online-based training workshop. And one of our trainings that we're having is, allow me to invite you in this transformational leadership, broadening our inspiration by deepening our transformation with Mr. Ardy Abello. He is an executive coach, a certified Jan Maxwell trainer, leadership performance coach, a member of the American Society of Training and Development. This training would happen on August 4 to 6, 2020. Okay? So please do join us up. I guarantee you this is one of the great learnings that you can really use and apply. All right? So because of that, yan, labas lang po ako. So, yan, para makita nyo po. Yan. Okay, so please say naman po, hit naman the heart or the like, and then baka nga, host a watch party para naman po makapag-ano tayo, no? Para enlarge natin ang ating mga learnings natin o may bahagi naman natin sa iba. So, our speaker for today, since we talk about leadership, is one of the leadership most sought after speaker dito sa Philippines. He also did leadership trainings abroad. He's one of the what do you call this consultants and what do you call this trainers that is not only being sought but also engaging. Yan. Yung iniisip ko kanina, engaging. How engaging? Okay, you'll find out. All right. So allow me to introduce our speaker. For today, our speaker is, okay, he is an executive coach, a certified Jan Maxwell trainer, a leadership performance coach, member of the American Society of Training and Development. For over 2 decades now, he is involved in training, consulting, and in recent years, coaching executives and the top management teams of different companies belonging to the top 100 corporations and multinational companies in our country today. He has keynoted in corporate sales rallies, national and international conventions, and conferences on various topics such as leadership, teamwork, top performance, work-life balance, and many more. He is currently a World Bank consultant for national and international projects involving learning and development for economic growth, governance, and compliance. He is an internationally certified trainer and currently main speaker and lead facilitator of Dr. Jan Maxwell's premier leadership workshop entitled Developing the Leader Within You and the Laws of Teamwork, earning his certification in Singapore. He also runs different leadership workshops. One of those are Aim High, Winning Insights for Top Performance, A Heart of Leadership, Mindsets of a Champ, Coaching for Breakthrough, strengths exploration, the Clifton Strengths Finder Workshop, wellness, personal finance management, lead time, taking the lead by managing time, HIP, creating high impact presentations, executive presence, and much more. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our today's guest, Mr. Ardy Abello. Naman, yon. Hello, Sir Ardy. Yan. Hello, Sir Ardy.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
We're back.
Yan. We're back. Okay, so,
Yes.
yan. Kanina, no, I made an introduction na po sa inyo, Sir Ardy. But, just to, before I pass on the stage, can you share with us the current works that you're doing or what makes you busy right now, Sir Ardy?
Oh wow, a lot. Well, we have a lot of things going on. I'm very busy with a lot of webinars, coaching, online coaching as well.
Mm-hmm.
So many companies have come to me for consulting also on how to move towards the new normal or how to plan for the second half of the year moving into to 2021, 2022 and beyond. So I've been very busy. In fact, this morning I had a webinar and this is going to be my second for the day. But it's funny because work from home arrangements like this, mga Zoom, mga MS Teams, it's actually kept me more busy in the last what end of March until today. It's kept me very busy, more than the live events. Kasi sa live events, there's a lot of you can't travel as much, so you can't do two events at the day during the day. But with this, we're doing so much more. So I'm really very busy in terms of helping direct leadership teams of companies and organizations and businesses to move forward. And apart from that, of course, I'm married, happily married with 5 kids. So that takes a lot of my time as well, making sure that the kids are prepared for homeschooling. Kasi there's a new way of learning now. It's all online. It's all homeschool. So we're preparing them for that. Not just my two younger ones, my 7-year-old and my 13-year-old, but even my 18-year-old who's going into college, freshman college. Ganon din. So they're also online, so we're preparing her for that. And then my second daughter is taking up medicine, so she's a sophomore in med proper in UERM. Ganon din. So it's preparing everybody in the house as well, helping them adjust to the new schedule or the new way of doing things. And then we also have a family business. We're in the F&B industry, so we have a restaurant and a bar. So we're busy getting that back on track. By August, we hope to open, and so we're making preparations for that. And it's very busy. Hindi biro itong nagawa ni COVID-19 sa atin. It's challenging, but everybody loves a good challenge. You know what I mean? We take it one day at a time. We take it in stride. We plan as best as we can, and we just move along. Sometimes as the spirit leads. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
minsan wala na tayong sagot eh. No?
Okay.
So sometimes we just have to be still first and know what's the next step. But it's enjoy naman siya. So we're in it for the ride, Luis.
So thank you. It's good for our viewers right now. Like I mentioned, we are there's no divide between the professional, what you're doing, and the personal life. So sabi ko nga sa
Absolutely.
viewers natin, Sir RD, being a leader in a organization and being a leader in a family, wala po siyang divide because professional and personal has to go hand in hand. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
para ka lang nagiging nagpapanggap ka lang. So, yun. So,
Correct.
so for our viewers right now, if you think na leadership is not for you, then I what do you call this? I'm taking a learning from. I'm sorry, I'm sharing a learning for you. Leadership is for you and leadership is applicable for you. So yun po yun,
Absolutely.
lahat po tayo ay isang leader. So Sir Ardy, I won't take much of the time because later we'll have
All right.
Q&A. So I'll pass on the stick first to you. So
All
ikaw na
right.
po muna, Sir Ardy.
Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody who's tuned in to Vertical Parallel and to Leadership Black and White. And I want to thank Luis one more time. I want to thank Luis and Jenny for always being very, very supportive of not just talent like ours and knowledge and the ability to pass on knowledge to others, but being very conscious about how can they give out more to other people. No? So I really applaud them for that. And I'm very thankful for people like them who have always given us an opportunity in a way by which we can express our learning, no, to many others. So let me talk a little bit about leadership, since this is the topic, leadership black and white. A little background on myself. I have been a leadership speaker, coach and consultant for probably about 15 years now, 15 or more years, together with Dr. John Maxwell in developing the leader within you and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So I've been running these programs for many, many, many years, and we've been using the framework to be able to develop not just leaders but leadership teams. And what we found out about leadership is it's for everybody. It's a nice concept for some, but it's really for everybody. It's not just for a select few. So I've been doing that for many years now. I've been a trainer, a consultant, and a coach for going 25 years, and I'm also a certified Gallup Strength Finder coach. And that's why I spend a lot of time coaching people to see what is right about people instead of seeing what is wrong about people. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But and I love business. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was younger. Freshman college pa lang po ako. I was always involved with business. My first business was a car shop. I know how to restore and repair cars. Old school, of course. But you study and you learn how to repair newer versions of cars. But now we restore cars as a hobby and as works of art. So that was my first business. My second business is I went into construction because my dad is an architect. So I built what he designed. So I know how to do interior renovations. That was my specialty. I didn't build buildings, but I did interior renovations. All because my dad said, yung building ano lang naman yan eh. Basta semento, bato, bakal, yan. Pero yung interior renovation, anak, sabi niya ng gano'n, diyan nagbubuhos ng pera yung kliyente. If you think about it, interior renovation, the interior of the house costs more than the actual structure of the house because that's where you have expensive furnitures, fixtures, etc. So I specialized in interior renovations and space planning. And then after that, I said to my dad, Dad, as much as I like working with you, it's really not working for me because time-wise, it was so difficult. I was leading the team, in the construction site in the evening. Then I had to lead a team in the office during the day. So, ang hirap. And then I went into garments. I went into fashion because I like dressing up. And so my wife and I decided, why don't we design, sew, and create what we wear? We didn't realize that when you get into fashion or garments, it's really a manufacturing and process improvement game. So we all just thought it was nice to wear. You're fancy. You like fancy clothes. You like dressing up. So you just make. It's not. It's a whole process altogether. It's a different process altogether. Eh kasabayan ko ng mga panahon na yan, mga kapatid. I was with. I started out about the same time as Pen Shop, Blue Soda, Bench. Bench was a little bit ahead of us, but that during that time I made shirts, men's shirts like these. Men's shirts. And it was so difficult because we were all subcontracting our job. And if you're up against the likes of Bench and Pen Shop and Blue Soda, their lot is way bigger than my production. And so therefore I had to be at the back of the production line in the subcontractor. So by the time my summer collection came out, it was already rainy season. So I realized so many things. One of the realizations there was uh, retail is a different animal altogether, but you have to be creative in what you want and how you want to sell things. And then I went into nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals. I had a group of a team in the Philippines, and I had a few in the different province, Manila, and then a few in different provinces, and some abroad. Uh, moving nutraceuticals, and that's where I began my career in training and consulting and public speaking and delivering motivational talks. And from there until now, this is the longest business that I've had so far, and I have no plans of retirement. When I got my insurance policy last year, my insurance agent was asking me, "So when do you plan to retire?" I said, "Retire? There's no such thing as retirement in my book." Because in our industry, when you talk about our industry, the older you get, the more wisdom you gain, the more network you have, the more experience you've encountered, and so therefore it's easier to put the concepts into actual practice because of all the experience that you've had all these years. I am 52 years old. I know some people say, "Oh, you don't look 52, you look 62." But I am 52 years old, and as I said earlier, I was happily married, 5 kids. My eldest is 27 years old. She is not just our daughter, but she's also a business partner. In fact, she's the president of our restaurant and bar. So she's been to New York. She studied in New York. She came back, and she's now helping us run that business. And then my second is a 23-year-old. My 23-year-old is taking up medicine in UERM. My 18-year-old, she just turned 18 this week. No, last week. She turned 18 last week. She's into freshman college at Mint. And then I have a 13-year-old, only boy, 13-year-old. He loves football. Now he's getting into basketball. He's an all-around athlete. But he's incoming grade 8, and I have a 7-year-old. I have a 7-year-old. So I have a 27, and I have a 7-year-old. A 20-year gap between the eldest and the youngest. And when you talk about and you think you're running a company, you're leading a company, you're leading a team of people, and it's easier to lead in the office. It's easier to lead at work. It's easier to lead in your organization, all because you know that at the end of the day, everybody is paid to do something, somehow, someone. But when you start leading the house or the home, turning it into a home, when you start leading your house to turn it into a home, it gets kind of tricky because everybody has a stake in that home. Whether it's you, the father, the mother, or the youngest child, or the only child, everybody has a stake. And no one is paid in the home. But it's interesting that when you talk about leadership in the home, it is no different from leadership at work if we know the basics or if we know the principles. Now, let me start with a definition of leadership. John Maxwell, in his book, I will make a lot of reference to John Maxwell, the laws, and a lot of the things that he has imparted to us as trainers and consultants, as certified coaches of Maxwell. And so John Maxwell, in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, wrote the very first law. It is called the law of influence. So he says there that the law of influence says the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I'll say it again. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So remember that law. You can Google it. That's what it says, the law of influence. So by definition, if you look at the definition of leadership, which is influence, one word that will describe influence, we can see that there are several shifts in leadership today. One shift is this: the shift from competence to character. That's the first shift. First shift of leadership is from competence to character. When you write down, I challenge you to write down the names of as many leaders as you can think of. Not just write down 10, 10 leaders on a sheet of paper. Don't do it now, but later on. Write down the list of 10 names of leaders. Leaders that everybody knows, whether sports, government, business, showbiz, whatever it is. So write down their names. And then opposite that name, write down one quality or one strength of that leader that made him or her the leader that he is or was. And you will find out a lot of the strengths that you write down. For example, Mother Teresa, the strength, compassion. Recording? And then you write Steve Jobs. Then the strength, innovation. Martin Luther King, visionary. Jose Rizal, nationalistic or patriotism. If you take a look at all those strengths, ask yourself, is it more a competence or a character trait? Is it more skills or behavior trait? Chances are you'll be checking a lot of behaviors more than skills. So the first shift in leadership is from competence to character. Looking at a lot of the companies that I've worked for and that I've worked with and consulted with, a lot of them are not just looking at PLOC. You know what I mean? The old school or the foundational to leadership today is PLOC. For those of you that are younger, na hindi nyo na naabutan yung PLOC. What's PLOC? Planning, leading, organizing, controlling. Those are the basic skills or competencies of a leader. They called it the management competencies, but truth to tell, those are leadership competencies as well. It's a shift. You don't take away from that. But the major shift now is from competence to character. Look at all the writers, whether John Maxwell, Simon Sinek, Kusis and Postner, who else? Patrick Lencioni. All these leadership writers will always talk about character qualities more than competence. Why? Because it's easy to teach competence, but you really impart character. I like what Dr. Tim Elmore said in his book, Habitudes. He says that competence will get you to the top position, but character will keep you on top. And if you look at all leaders today, how have they failed? It's not because of competence issues. It's because of character issues. So that's the first shift. The second shift, let me get my notes here. The second shift, when you talk about leadership, is from position to influence. The second shift is from position to influence. So by influence, we say the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I often tell people, lead with respect, not with position. Lead with respect, not with position. Back in the day, during my time, when we were younger, we never questioned our parents. We never questioned our parents. And we took that to work. We never questioned our boss. We never questioned the client. Basta pag sinabi ni boss, talon, tatalon ka. Pag sinabi ni client, jump, tatanong mo lang siguro, how high? How high? Ganun lang. But today, if you ask the younger generation to jump or to do this, do that, what will they say? Why? They always ask the question, why? And so we can no longer use the position or our position as leverage to get things done. Hindi na po natin pwedeng sabihin, dahil akong boss, kaya sumunod ka. Dahil akong leader, kaya sumunod ka. Dahil akong manager, akong supervisor, kaya sumunod ka. We can no longer use that. In fact, even as a parent, di ba? Paminsan, hindi na natin magagamit yung dahil akong tatay, kaya sumunod ka. Di ba ako sasabihin, bakit? Bakit ba? You know, it's interesting if we get tired of answering the question why, That's where we lose respect with the people in our organizations, with the children in our homes. Yung basta, yung ganon, that's probably the worst thing that we can do. And so lead respect with respect means that we take time. We take time to understand where they're coming from. We take time to understand who they are. We take time to really explain why do we need to do the things that we do. Yung mga cellphone, yung ganon. Why do I need to surrender my cellphone sa gabi? Well, because you need to surrender it because it's not going to be healthy for you if you sleep late. Or iPad. Why do I need to surrender my iPad in the evening? Because it's not going to be healthy for you if you're going to sleep late and then you're going to school and it's going to be homeschooling already. So, pag nagbago yung sleeping pattern mo, ikaw rin yung mahuhuli sa iba. So, you explain why you're doing it for them, not to them. Why you're doing it for them, not to them. And that's a way by which we can see that we build respect. And when there's respect, the influence becomes better or the influence becomes broader. Lead with respect, not just with position. The third shift is from comfort to crisis management. Before, when people get into the leadership position, they rest in the comforts of their office. They rest in the comforts of their ivory tower. But now, when leadership is tested, it is normally tested in times of crisis. It is normally tested in times of crisis. So there's no longer the comfort zone. It's always trying to see how we can solve the crisis situation in our organizations, most especially now during this pandemic, during the community quarantine. We don't know what's going to happen. We're always looking forward to seeing. Many plans have become ambiguous. You remember the VUCA, diba? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. All of those are no longer just concepts. All of those are real. And it's happening now. It's real. And a leader's response is supposed to be, how do we see clearly certain opportunities during a crisis situation? And it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. But we must. I share this many times in my seminars on or webinars on leadership. If you write down the word crisis in Chinese characters, it will have two characters. The first character talks about fear. The second character talks about opportunity. But if you put the two characters together, it spells the word crisis. Message to us is this: as leaders, if you are in a crisis today, whether that's a personal crisis, whether that's a family crisis, whether that's a business crisis, or a work organizational crisis, always remember, peel behind the fear. Kasi yun yung unang character sa salitang crisis. Peel behind the fear, look behind the fear or beyond the fear, and see the opportunity. Because there will always be opportunity in crisis situations. I'll be honest with you. In our restaurant and bar, in the midst of a crisis, we were able to come up with 4 businesses because we refused to look to be halted by fear. We refused to say it will stop here. No, we wanted to see what are other opportunities. So we developed an online business already. We developed the restaurant business. We developed the bar business, and we've developed the retail business. 4 businesses coming out of a crisis situation with 1 store. That's opportunity. And people are looking to leadership to provide, to help them see those opportunities. Let me tell you this. Everybody's a leader. You also have that ability to look beyond the crisis, to look beyond the fear and see the opportunity. Because there's always opportunity in times of crisis. Those are the 3 shifts when it comes to leadership. Shift pa lang yun, mga kapatid. Let me share with you just very quickly. When you talk about transformational leadership, um, because at this time at this time in our careers, at this time in our country, at this time in history, this is where we need more and more transformational leadership. Transformational begins from us. It starts here from within. Change has to begin from within. Dr. Margaret Wheatley, an organizational development expert, said this: you can't change an individual or an organization. You can only go as far as influence them. And when she said influence, what she meant by that was you can influence people positively or negatively. When you influence people positively, it causes positive output. In the same manner, if you influence people negatively, it produces negative output. So she says you can't change an individual or an organization. You can only influence them. Because in the end, that person will choose to transform or change for him or herself. So as leaders, we all have influence. Influence people positively enough so that they see certain opportunities, so that they can see how they can transform their leadership, the leadership that they can provide for others. First transformation is the transformation of the heart. Transformation of the heart. And when I say, so sometimes some of us have to have a heart transplant. We have to have a heart transplant. What do I mean by transformation of the heart? Transformation of the heart means by, from looking more at the scoreboard or the scorecard, because that's always how we rate people, how we value people based on their scorecards. Looking more from the scorecard to safety and security, security and care. Are you following? Looking beyond just the scorecard and looking to security and care. That's what I mean when I say transformation of the heart. It is true. Zig Ziglar said this. John Maxwell said this. I'm sure the late Stephen Covey also said this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's so true. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so let me share with you a law. It's called the law of connection. The law of connection simply says this: leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. I'll say it again. Leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. This law states that before you can ask anyone to work with or for you, don't just know about them, know them. I'll say it again. Don't just know about them, know them. Because knowing about people is easy. You go to HR, you pull out the 201 file, you will know everything about that person. Their full name, if they're married, how many children, where do they live, what's their educational attainment, if this is their first job, second job, third job, how did they do in their first job, second job, third job, what are the skill sets. There's so much that you can know about people. But the real question is this: do we know them? Chances are we just know about people. It's just like money. It's just like money. Listen, money is with us every day, right? Money is with us every day. However, all we know about money is color and value. Color and value. Orange is what? Orange is, yes, you're thinking in your mind, 20 pesos, right? Red is, correct, 50. Purple is 100. Green is 200. Correct. Yellow is 500. And blue is 1,000. Dati ang blue, 2 pesos. Dati ang green, 5 pesos. May brown pa nga, yung brown, 10 pesos. But that's it. That's all we know about money, color and value. We don't know much about money until we carefully look at that bill and say, hey, ito pala yung animal na nasa likod ng 1,000 peso bill. O ito pala yung Philippine landmark Or ito pala yung tatlong tao na nasa 1,000 pesos. O ito pala yung national hero na nasa bill na yun. Same thing. People are with us every day. But you know what? Many times we all know, the only thing we know about them is their name and their function. What do they do? What do they do in our company? I have my restaurant, for example. I have people that's front of the house, FOH. Front of the house means what? The servers, the greeters. I have back of the house. What's the back of the house? The cooks, the chefs, people that prepare the food. Then I have the bartender, the bar staff. They're the ones who mix the drinks. I can just go in and out every night, every day, not knowing them. But I know about them and I know them. That's very important. So that when you now read the scorecard, you can tell the performance of that person. Maybe if there's a dip, for example, you look at the scorecard, if there's a dip in the performance of that person, maybe it's because that they're going through something personally, they're going through something relationally, because you took time to know them, not just know about them. That's the first transformation or the first shift. Transformation of the heart, looking more beyond the scorecard and looking into security and care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The second transformation is transformation of the soul, o yung tinatawag natin EQ, yung emotional quotient. Ito po, ang sinasabi natin dito, from reaction to responsibility. From being reactive as a leader, always reacting, short fused, always reacting, to being more positive, to thinking first and being more responsible. If you cut the word responsibility in two, you will see two words. You'll see response, ability. So literally that word means the ability to choose the right response. The ability to choose the right response. In a crisis situation, always remember it's not what happens around you that matters. It's what happens in you that matters most, because what happens in you will determine your reaction or your response. Let me just share with you very quickly when you talk about a reaction and response. Reaction and response have two different outputs. A reaction will normally have a negative output, while a response will have a more positive output. Let me give you an example. You go to the doctor. Let's say you're coughing. Of course, it's not COVID. You're just coughing, a normal cough. You're coughing, you go to the doctor prescribes you, checks you up, prescribes you medication, and the medication normally should last for about 7 days, right? 7 days, and then you go back to the doctor. When you go back to the doctor, if your cough has gone from bad to worse while taking medication, or you've developed another allergy, what does the doctor say? Or maybe after the third day, you call the doctor again, or you Zoom with the doctor consultation and say, Doc, I've developed rashes, I've developed hives because of medicine. What does the doctor say? He'll say, let me change your prescription because your body is reacting to the medication. However, if you go back to the doctor 7 days after and you're cleared of your cough is gone, it's clear. What does the doctor say? Very good. Next time you have that kind of cough, of course, there are different kinds of coughs. But if you encounter that kind of cough, take that medicine. I will leave the prescription with you. Take that medicine because your body is responding to the medication. So a response will always have a more positive output in terms of addressing a crisis situation. Many times when crisis hits us, as leaders, we always react to the crisis situation. A friend of mine who is an EQ coach, he's an EQ coach, says this: it takes 6 seconds for you to think of the right response given any situation. So when a crisis happens, pause. Literally, pause. Stop. Don't move forward. Don't react. Think of the right response, and you will see you will have a better output. you will have a better output. And the ability to respond properly is a good way to show people in your organization, in your family, in your teams, the leadership response, the ability to choose your response. Remember this, that's leading by conduct, like um, how you behave. Because 87%, research shows that 87% of the information that people receive about others comes through the eyes. 87% of the information that people receive about others comes through the eyes more than the ears. So someone can say one thing and they can be very good, but you watch the behavior. Because if the behavior says otherwise, then you know the behavior is more real than what this person is saying. Galing, ano? So, conduct is very important. Watch our lives. John Maxwell also talks about integrity. Integrity is you are who you are, no matter where you are or who you are with. Again, integrity is you are who you are, no matter where you are or who you are with. Talking about work ethics, there's no such thing as work ethics. There's none. There's no such thing as work ethics. It's either you have it or you don't. It's ethics, period. So you cannot be excellent at work and not excellent at home, because ethics is it. I always hear my kids say this: you can't teach breeding, or you can't buy culture, or you can't buy good manners. It has to be demonstrated in front of you. So watch your lives, watch your response, transform from always reacting to respond. That's transformation number two, transformation of the soul or emotions. Tsaka yung paminsan, yung magre-react tayo sa mga maliit lang naman na bagay. Minsan, palakpasin mo na lang. Pero yung mga bagay-bagay na alam mong if they continue on that path, or if they continue on that behavior, it's going to lead them to something worse in the future. That's what you address. But there are other things that you just let go. Ika nga ni Elsa sa Frozen. Let it go. Elsa ba yun or Anna? Anak. Tish, Elsa ba yun or Anna? Let it go. Elsa. my kids are right in front of me. And the last one is this. And then I'll entertain some questions. Transformation of the mind. Transformation of the mind. When I talk about transformation of the mind, it's this. Stop fixing weaknesses. Maximize strengths. Stop fixing weaknesses. Maximize strengths. Donald Clifton is the father of the Clifton Strength Finder. And he made the statement, he asked a question actually. The question is this: what would happen if we would always take a look at what's right with people rather than looking at what's wrong with them? Galingan. What will happen if we always take a look at what's right with people, or choose to look at what's right with people rather than what's wrong with them? I mean, we'll probably have more harmony in the workplace. We'll probably have more collaboration. We'll probably have more humility, in the sense that people will say, yes, this is what I'm good at, but I really suck at this. So help me. Or how can my strength, how can my talents help in achieving the goal for the second half of the year or next year? So when you say transformation of the mind, let's have a growth mindset, or a shift in where we take a look at how we can develop to become better versions of ourselves But at the same time, how can we also leverage on others so that we can build a stronger team and they can also be strong together with us? There is a law in the 15 invaluable laws of growth, also with Dr. Maxwell. It's called the law of awareness. The law of awareness says this: to grow yourself, you must know yourself. To grow yourself, you must know yourself. Be a student of yourself, be a student of your family, of your kids, be a student of your team. But it all starts with you. What are you good at? What's your purpose? What can you do extremely well? What can you not do like it's second nature? You also have to acknowledge that. But with strengths and weaknesses, work more on your strengths. Why? Because when you work on your weakness, you're starting from a negative. So when you work on your weakness, you're only strong. When you work on your strengths, may pondo ka na, mga kapatid. Okay? So when you work on your strength, that makes you even stronger. So my question to everyone is this: what do we want to be? Do we just want to be strong, or do we want to be stronger? I'm sure everybody's saying, of course, Ardy, hello, we want to be stronger. Definitely. I've never heard anyone that says, I just want to be strong or I want to remain in my weakness. No. Many people will always want to say, yeah, I want to be strong. I want to be the best. I want to move forward. I want to develop. I want to grow. Then work on your strengths. Three things will happen when you work on your strengths. Number one, you become sharper over time. You become sharper over time because you're constantly. How do you chop a tree? What do you do? The first thing, if you're given a task to chop down the tree with an axe, what do? First thing that you do is what? Sharpen the axe, of course, so that you can chop the tree down quicker. Because you just start chopping the tree, purul pala yung axe mo. It will take you a longer time to chop down the tree. So you sharpen the axe first. So it will make you sharp. Number two, when you work on your strength, it stretches you. Let me share with you a little bit about bows and arrows because I come from a school that knows about bows and arrows. If you wanna, if you want the arrow to slice the wind better, make sure that it's sharp. Why? Because the sharpened arrow will always cut the wind by a certain percentage, and it will fly better. Number two, an arrow is useless unless it's stretched in a bow. Unless it's stretched in a bow. In the same way, you may sharpen your skills, your talents, your gifts, and abilities, but you need to stretch yourself also out of your comfort zone, but stay within your strength zone. And the third, set your standards high, set your targets high, because with your strengths and with your stretching, you can hit that target. Because everything is in right order. The target is clear, you're stretched in a bow, and you are sharpened. Law of awareness says to know yourself, to grow yourself, you must know yourself. These are some of the things that we will be talking about in the workshop that's upcoming, Transformational Leadership, on August 4 and August 6. So these are the things that I want you to consider starting now. I just want you to consider that. And this is a talk that I put together for you, just so that you can take what leadership really is, the black and white of leadership, and say that it's not just for those with a position, but it's for everyone. It's for you, it's for me, it's for everybody. As long as we have influence with over and with people, we are considered a leader. And sabihin nyo ba, RD, introvert naman ako. Hindi naman ako. You know what? They found out, sociologists they found out this. The average introverted person would have influenced 10,000 other people in his or her entire lifetime. I'll say it again. The average introverted person would have influenced 10,000 other people in their entire lifetime. That's an introverted person. So even at that, the introverted person will still have influence. So influence is for everyone, and so therefore leadership is for everyone. And by the way, when you talk about social media today, what are they called? They're called social media influencers. Some of them don't have the position. Some of them don't have the titles. Some of them don't own businesses or companies, or but because of the number of likes, the number of views, the number of comments that they get, they have become that influencer status. Why? Because their influence, the reach of their influence is broad and many times also deep. Okay? So take these principles, take these leadership principles that we've shared together and use them. I'm sure if you'll use them, it will be of benefit to you and for you. So I want to thank everyone, and I hope to see you on August 4 and 6 for Transformational Leadership. I'll turn this back over to Luis for some questions that some of you may have. Luis, yes, sir.
Thank you, Sir Ardy. Yan na guys, to our viewers right now, and to the viewers later na manonood, glimpse pa lang yan ng ating transformational leadership. Ang dami na, no? So we'll talk about frameworks on August 4 and 6. Okay, we'll talk about frameworks. Okay, we'll also have workshops. Okay, na ikakandak ni Sir Ardy. So, before we proceed to the question and answer, gusto ko lang po batiin yung mga people who've joined us earlier, Sir Ardy. We have people from Davao de Oro, sila Miss Queen.
Wow.
Okay, we have people from Cebu, Joanna. We have people from Negros Oriental, si Princess. And we have we have guys from Nepal. Okay, we have Rajesh.
Wow.
Rajesh Bandari. I hope I was able to pronounce it right. Mr. Bandari, thank you for joining us. And we have people from Pampanga, si Miss Beth Acampanado. So thank you for joining to our viewers, and to the viewers later. We appreciate your time of spending learning from Mr. Ardy Abello. So Sir Ardy, let's proceed to the Q&A.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. First question they had is how can we I think she is one part of the organizational development team, no? She's asking but his name is Queen, okay? How do you measure leadership effectiveness? Or can it be measured?
Leadership effectiveness. I did a talk on that, leadership effectiveness. And when you talk about leadership effectiveness, the beauty of, I think, the Maxwell program is it goes through frameworks. In fact, the Developing the Leader Within You, which is the book of Dr. Maxwell, which was written in 1992, I think. That is the basis of the workshop that we conduct. And you're going to get a taste of that, a snapshot of that on August 4 and 6. But essentially, what happens is there are 5 levels of leadership. And the beauty about the 5 levels of leadership is for every level, there are certain laws and there are certain dynamics that you do so that you can move from one level to another. And just very quickly, the 5 levels of leadership is position. That's level 1. Everybody starts there. You're given the position. So you're given the right to lead. You're given, you give the position, the title, you earn the paycheck, so you're at that level. Then level 2 is permission level. Permission means people give you permission to build a relationship with them. People give you permission to get to know them, not just know about them, but get to know them and really build that professional relationship with them. Then level 3 is production level. Production level is where people follow you. So level 1, people follow you because they have to, position. Level 2, people follow you because they want to. You're a nice person. You're a nice leader. People like coming to you. Level 3 is production leadership. So production leadership means people follow you because of what you've done for the organization. Following. So in other words, level 3, medyo kailangan naglalabas ka na ng konting lakas doon, or you're showing them that, hey, I'm not just a positional leader. I can actually deliver results, and I have. So that's level 3. People follow you because of what you've done for the organization. Level 4 is people development. People development is people follow you because of what you've done for them. It's at that level, it's at that level that you can see the leader's effectiveness. Meaning, if the leader is beginning to develop people to succeed him, if people are beginning to develop leaders who are succeeding him, that is how you can see leadership effectiveness. And it takes it takes security in that level. I'll just finish off. Level 5 is pinnacle or personhood. In other words, people follow you. Level 5, people follow you because of what you've done, because of just who you are, by mere respect of you, your name, and how you've achieved that level. People follow you. But level 4, what's interesting about level 4 is this: there is a law called the law of empowerment. The law of empowerment says this: only secure leaders give power to others. Only secure leaders give power to others. So if you were to ask me, this is a long answer to a short question. If you were to ask me how do you measure leadership effectiveness, it is measured by the security of the leader of himself. And the behavior related to that is if you find him choosing certain people whom he or she will mentor, will coach, will help develop, build them up so that they can make him replaceable. Yung sinasabi nating succession planning, when the succession planning happen? Day 1. The minute you receive the position of leadership, look for someone to succeed you. Pour your life into that person. You can only do that if you're secure about your leadership. So I think that the effectiveness of a leader is when he's able to develop other leaders to follow him or to succeed him. And not only that, not only to succeed pala, to do even greater things than him or her. So now when I start a business, I always like to involve 1 or 2 of my kids, so that I will eventually later on continue doing what I'm doing, which is this, but that other business will now be left to him or her. That's it.
Thank you, Sir Ardy. I like that. So, yan. So, yan, may ano pa, no? May tips pa from succession planning. But, okay. Thank you, Sir Ardy, for that. That is a question actually from Ara. Sorry, not Queen, but Ara. But this time, may question naman po from Alvin. I think similar then, but it's more on a different approach. Are there any tips for organizational commitment? So yung commitment,
Organizational
yung commitment naman nung, I think, is, okay, I think if hindi sinabi kong entrepreneur or within the top management, but he's asking, are there any tips about organizational commitment or your employee commitment?
Okay, so it's how to get employee commitment. If that's what we're saying, then, or your team's commitment to do a job. For me, the way I see commitment is their ability to maximize the resources that they have to get the job done. And Zig Ziglar always says this when he was still alive. He says, commitments lead to solutions. Non-commitments lead to escapes. I'll say again, commitments lead to solutions. Non-commitments lead to escapes. So if people are committed to the task, if people are committed to getting the job done, if people are committed to moving the company or the organization forward together as one team, they will always find solutions. They will always be solution-oriented. They will always see, how do we evolve? How do we change? How do we innovate? And that's the behavior that you want to look for. But if people are not committed, as they say, there's always 101 reasons why things cannot be done. Kung may gusto, may paraan. Kung ayaw, may dahilan. It's a famous Filipino saying, but it's so true, and it's still happening today. It's still happening today. Yeah, you take a look at, you just take a look at the people in your team. Just take a look at the people in your team. You tell, oh, this is what we need to do to get the job done, and then you're looking for deep commitment. Looking for deep commitment, but you find out later on na, whew, parang I'm doing all of this alone, all because, or maybe one or two are following you and helping you do the job, but the rest, they're just complaining, they're doing this, they're doing, all because there's not much commitment from them. So the behavior that you want to look for when you talk about team commitment, or commitment from the top, from your leadership, or commitment for the organization, the behavior that you want to look for is innovation. Innovative thinking kasi dalawa yan eh. Number one, true innovation talks about proactiveness. What is proactive? Your product still works, gumagana pa rin yung produkto mo, but you're creating many versions of it already. You follow it? Your product still works, but you're creating a lot more versions of it. That's proactive. Number two, it has to be problem solving. It has to be problem solving. That's true innovation. So true innovation wants to see what can I solve, or what problems can I solve. So if the task is at hand, if there's a goal, the behavior that you want to see is, boss, how do we do this? Or, sir, I have an idea of how to get over this, or I have an, are you following? So it's really those that are always solution oriented. It's really those that are always thinking about how they can make things better. That's the kind of behavior that tells you that these people are committed. Kasi pag hindi committed yan, mahirap talaga yan, boss. Hindi nga natin alam kung kailan matatapos. Wala pa nga vaccine, lalabas na tayo. Hirap yan. Hindi mangyayari yan. Ako, better to play safe. Dito na lang tayo. It may inaction. Commitments also lead to action. Non-commitments lead to inaction. Yung relax lang tayo dito. Let's wait for the vaccine na lang first. Diba? Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede eh. Because in the meantime, guess what? Competition's getting ahead of you. Your clients are already transferring to another company because there's so much inaction because of non-commitment of people. So the behavior that you want to look at, as I said earlier, no, it's all about behavior. The behavior that you want to see, or the behavior that you want to measure, is how innovative or solution-oriented or results-driven people are. And it normally comes out in your conversations with them and how you relate to them. Marinig mo parati yan.
Thank you, Sir Ardy. To Sir Alvin, yan. Sir Ardy gave you some tips. And I think for more, you can always tune in for for our leadership black and white. I think we'll guest again Sir Ardy in the future, to talk about those things. Like for
Sure.
example, the organizational commitment, because there will always be levels of engagement, disengagement, at saka yung mga anchored character. So Sir Ardy, sorry, to other questions, we'll try to answer them. But since we're running out of time, I'm medyo i-trim down na po. But can I ask Sir Ardy to invite us? Sir Ardy, can you invite our viewers for our transformational
Yes.
transformational leadership happening on August 4 and 6? Sir Ardy?
Yes. We're really excited to invite all of you to Transformational Leadership. Transformational Leadership is a 2-day course on August 4 and August 6. It's going to be packed with a lot of learning, a lot of breakout sessions, a lot of workshops, just so that we can make sure that our transformation is positive, so that we can come up with positive outputs, not just for our leadership, not just for our team, our organization, but even for our family and our personal lives. So I'll see you all on August 4 and 5 in Transformational Leadership. Bye.
Yan. Sir Ardy. So yan. Oh, guys, to our viewers, it's August 4 and 6. Okay.
4
So
and 6. Sorry.
Transformational Leadership with Mr. Ardy Abello, August 4 and 6. It's an 8-hour masterclass. Yan. So please do register. I'm encouraging you to register. check on our page, Vertical Parallel Asia, on our page, or PM us or direct message us so we can cater to your inquiry. So, Sir Ardy, I'll just put you in waiting room as I do announcement and closing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So everyone, thank you for joining us this afternoon in Leadership Black and White, where leadership has to be clear, black and white, and leadership. The question is for you. The question for you is: Are you a leader or not yet a leader? Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us. Please do allow me to invite you again to Transforming Leader. Share the screen, okay, para po mas yan. Okay, allow me to invite you once again. Transformational Leadership, broadening our inspiration by deepening our transformation by Mr. Ardy Abello. It's an 8-hour masterclass leadership training. He is also he's an executive coach, certified John Maxwell trainer, leadership performance coach, member of the American Society of Training and Development. So please do join us. Please do happening this August 4 and 6. Please do direct message us or visit our page to know more about that training. So, ini-invite ko po kayo, please do. Okay, guaranteed po yan with the workshops, with the training workshops, guaranteed po you will learn more from it. Okay, so also, don't worry, the Moving Beyond Crisis will still happen next week. I think we have scheduled. But the Leadership Black and White will still continue, wherein we tackle and talk about two things about leader having the vision-oriented leaders at the same time results-driven strategies that comes up with the leadership strategy. So, guys, thank you for your time. I appreciate everyone for joining us. If you do have, please do rate us. Okay, so please rate us. Do visit our page, and then there's a portion that check review, and then do a recommendation. So thank you. I hope everyone has been learning. Until the next time, as I end, okay, allow me just to show you this video of vertical parallel.